Oh, we can start. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spoilt Milk movie podcast, where today we'll be talking about V for Vendetta. My name is Cham. I'm a cheery chimp who loves chestnuts. We also have the hobo. Tell us about yourself, hobo.
Hello, I'm a hobo. I'm
homo.
happily homo sapien, having holiday hemorrhoids.
Holiday hemorrhoids are the best.
I'm glad that both of you helped me out with that one because I was struggling for words.
And Catty.
Oh, this is really hard. I am Catty. I like kicking.
Kit Kats.
Oh, and Kit Kats.
Yeah.
And kittens.
Yeah.
But not of the cat kind.
Not of the cat kind.
What?
What other kittens are there? Atomic.
Atomic. Oh, fuck. Like, there's like an...
Fuck kittens.
No, I don't fuck kittens. Oh, shit. There's like some sort of other animal that has kittens.
Right, okay. We'll have to do some Googling on that one.
I think there's like rabbits have kittens, don't there? Are they just kits?
Right.
You
Well, like the
kids.
Knight Rider car.
Well,
Yeah. That's a good one.
Or
Koalas?
koalas.
Well, we are here to talk about V for Vendetta, but before we have a top 3 selection that's been sent in by Andrew Gallagher.
Andrew Gallagher.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr.
Andy G.
Gallagher.
Mr. Gallagher,
And
Mr.
I'm
G.
pretty sure.
Is
I
he
mean,
other Gallagher brother?
Yeah, there we go. He is the other Gallagher brother. The more successful one, if you ask me.
He is from Mank as well.
He's harder.
What do you mean? In what way?
Oh, hobo.
Oh my god.
I meant like an armadillo skin or...
He once shot a gun, he did tell me that.
Oh, really?
What, at someone?
Hey.
No, a tree.
Oh, right, okay.
But apparently it was like a really old tree, I think.
Did he get a really thick Manchester
you
accent?
shouldn't be shooting it like it's a piece of like history. And he's just shot it.
He's shot a history tree.
History tree. History tree.
Andy Gallagher shooting history trees.
Wasn't he a history teacher as well before?
I did not know that.
I'm sure he were a history teacher.
Oh my god! And he's shooting history now.
Yeah, it's like, fuck you, history tree.
That was his goodbye to teaching.
So who wants to go first with their top fight scene?
I'll go first.
Right.
So my top fight scene is Warrior King.
Warrior King?
What?
Both of us.
It's a Tony Jaa film.
Oh, right. Oh, well,
yeah.
every Tony Jaa film's got quality fighting in.
I've only seen On Back.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I loved On Back.
Was Tony Jaa in the one where it was about the people who got hijacked on the way to the Olympics and then had to like fight back, and they all did like jumping from rings and stuff like gladiators?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. What?
So, Warrior King.
Warrior King. There is one specific scene. I mean, the whole film's great, but there's one specific scene. There's a temple, a Buddhist temple. It is on fire and flooded at the same time.
Right.
And there's a man in a hood, and Tony Jaa comes in.
Does he hug a hoodie?
And it doesn't hug a hoodie. It does the exact opposite. But there's like some people crying because the temple's on fire, and he's like, "Oh, get out!" Like there's an injured man on the floor. He's an old man. He's like, "Oh, let's get out." Helps him get out. Then there's this man in the hood, and he starts doing some weird drunken boxing, breakdancing, fighting, and Tony Jaa just fucks him up.
Oh, is it like drunken style wushu or whatever it is? Because I love that style.
It's kind of that, but then breakdancing mixed in. It's weird.
Nice.
Like when he falls onto the floor, he does like mad, like spins and stuff. I forgot that we're actually recording this.
Yeah, you are dancing on the video.
So he has a fit.
He has a fit. Tony Jaa puts him in the recovery position. The end.
And then he elbows him in the face because that's the type of fighting style that Tony Jaa's got, hasn't he?
Well, any of the Young Bak films, like the guy that
There's
like
more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's like 3. But the guy that like made them was just like, when he sent out the calls for like fighters and that, and they were like, if you can't handle getting hit, then don't fucking bother coming.
Hard bastard.
And it is brutal.
Oh, totally. That bit where the guy gets elbowed and kneed in the face at the same time.
That bit where he jumps up really high and the weight. Oh yeah, that, I was like, I don't want that. Just
Please don't hurt me.
I'm a soft little boy.
So that's Warrior King.
Yeah, so there's flames and fighting.
I like it. That's good.
Hobo.
Mine's not as good as Flames and Fighting.
mine isn't as good as-
mine's a bit softer. I was tempted to go with Warrior, which is related to us, as in the MMA fighting one with
Tom Hardy and Joel
and-
Edgerton.
Yeah, and just because that had loads of good fights in it. But I went with something a bit more like, this is a fight scene I really like for how well it's shot. And that's from Brick, surprisingly enough.
Never seen it. I was asking you about this the other day.
So it's a really like low budget, almost, it feels like a very well done student film, but it's by the director of The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson, whatever you
Sorry, this is really tart.
what's really tart? What beer is it?
It is
Florida Vice.
Florida Wessie.
I thought you meant Hobo's explanation was really tart.
No,
yeah, it's too much.
it's a hazy raspberry sour.
It was nice. I tried a bit.
I
It's
hate
tasty.
Sours are the worst.
Love sours.
Yeah, anyway, so it's shot really, it's a film that you watch it and you feel like, if you're like me, who got into film making, like you feel like there's no reason I shouldn't be making a film like this. It's just well done.
Why
and
aren't
it's
you?
simple. You don't need loads of budget. You just need to have that visual eye. And in particular, the fight scene is a really good moment of that, where it takes a little bit of inspiration from like anime films. You know how they have like the action and then a quick cut to the punch, but then a quick cut away.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like that, and some of the fighting happens off screen, so literally it's a static shot. This guy like is struggling against him and he pushes him out of the scene, and then you hear some fighting, and then they come back into the scene and the other guy's got the upper hand and is almost like chucking him down. But there's also just a bit where it's essentially a big jock guy against a weakling sort of indie old kid. And the old kid, just every time he gets knocked down or knocked to the ground, he just like does this really brutal kick to the shin of his jock. And the sound effect on it is like, oh, you just feel sick. And it's a really good matchup, I think. So, yeah.
I just zoned out halfway through that.
Just thinking about your tart beer.
Good to know that I sold it to you.
I zoned out and then came back in.
Ah, okay.
Was it for the shin kick?
Yeah.
Wait, so I lost you in a static shot as soon as I said that? Or?
Yeah, I didn't get that bit. All I heard was massive jock guy, and then I came back in at that point.
Oh, okay. So watch it. Massive jock guy.
Indie kid. Shin kicking.
Shin kicking, yeah. There's some shin kicking.
Do you know what? I was like, I really thought about this afterwards, and there was 1,000,001 better fight scenes. So things like The Raid, The Matrix. But two came to mind. One, really quickly, have you seen Dazed and Confused?
Yes.
I love the bit where like the nerdy guy's like, I'm going to go and beat that guy up. And he's like, in a fight, all you usually do is you hit someone and then someone comes and tears it apart and that's it. And then he just ends up getting beaten up. But weirdly, the first one that came to mind, and I'm quite ashamed of this, is the food fight from Problem Child 2. Have you seen Problem Child 2?
Yeah,
I've seen the first one.
And there's just a horrible pizza fight where him and his little family go to this pizza restaurant and Gilbert Gottfried's there shouting.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my God, I love pizza. And he's with this woman with giant boobs. And then they throw a meatball in the boobs. So Gilbert Gottfried, he throws a pizza back and it slaps John Ritter in the face. But the pizza's like, it's as if they've put like the world's stretchiest wallpaper paste on it. So every time someone peels a slice off the face, it leaves like this big stringy. And it's a horrible film. Like thinking back on it now, it's horrible. And I just watched the scene again before recording this, and it's a horrible scene. And Gilbert Gottfried is just horrible and shouting at his Iago best. But I love it. And it just reminds me of being a little kid and just buzzing off Junior and Problem Child and all the shenanigans he got up to. And that's my top.
Okay. Andy gave me his top 3.
Oh, did he?
yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh, nice.
he picked a top 3.
Right, okay, then what were his?
So it was the shooty, fighty scene in Face Off when the kid's listening
the
to Somewhere
dog.
Over the Rainbow.
yeah.
Oh, I hate Face Off.
Oh, what?
And it was like, it's all because of like the song that's played and like all the shit that's going on in the background.
So is that's not with the doves, that's in the apartment.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a little kid and he's listening to
Yeah.
Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Right, yeah, sorry.
Good scene.
That one. His second choice, he changed his second choice.
Right.
And his second choice is the fight scene from the Step Brothers.
I was thinking Step Brothers as well. I love that. Where he puts his nuts on the drums.
Yep. And then his third choice is Rocky and Dolph Lundgren.
Right, okay then.
Yeah.
Does he mean the actual Rocky one or the one with Apollo Creed when he kills Apollo Creed? Spoiler alert.
He meant
The final
the
one.
final one.
Right,
He
okay.
was tempted by the Apollo Creed one, I think. Actually, or was it the other way around? It was one of the two.
Yeah, it was
haven't helped.
definitely Dolph Lundgren.
Okay,
Right,
yeah,
okay.
Because I had to spell it.
But yeah, because Dolph Lundgren fights Apollo Creed.
Don't he
earlier in the
kill
film.
him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a
So,
really good scene and he comes down dancing to Living in America and
living in
just-
America.
he just smashes him and says something like,
Wow.
if he dies, he dies. But that's one of the good Rocky films.
I've never seen any Rockies.
Have you not?
I was saying it's the exact same thing. I know that like Rocky and that is some of the more popular ones, but I prefer Rocky 4. I think just for when I came into it and
Yeah.
the whole, as cheesy it is, the montage and then the I will break you just sells it.
So what are our top 3? Thanks for yours, Andy, by the way.
Cheers,
What was
Andy.
yours, Catty?
Warrior King.
What was yours, Herbo?
Brick.
And mine was Problem Child 2. And we'll be
Can't
back.
believe that.
Yeah, we'll be back shortly to talk about
So
Bieber
strange.
Vendetta.
Bieber.
Bieber Vendetta.
Bieber. Is that like Antonio Banderas' weird son?
No, that's what the Skybox thought I said when I said Bieber Vendetta. And I brought up films about Justin Bieber and then people in debt. I was like, what?
I would sing a Bieber song, but I don't know any, so
Do you not?
no, like I can't even think of a single bar from a Bieber song.
We'll go and play you some and then we'll come back. In the first half, you can sing it.
I don't know. No.
See you soon.
Bye.